Okay, so you watched the video clips. What were your general impressions about the recording strategies?
Sorry, what was that?
What were your general impressions about the recording strategies? Like, which one do you feel worked the best?
Well, I think the most accurate probably was the partial interval, but they are all a little bit difficult to record with such a high rate of the behavior.
Okay.
To closely monitor your watch.
Yeah. So what, when you guys did event recording, how many episodes of the behavior did you record?
I had 4, excluding any of the approximations for the k, which happened a couple times.
Okay. Crystal, what about you?
I had 3.
I had 3 as well, but again, it's a difficult behavior to do event recording with because of the frequency, or he would start and stop with the behavior, and so I think there were a couple times where he almost went 5 seconds before starting in again, but I think it was like maybe 3 or 4, and so you could see how there would be discrepancies in your data when you have a behavior that's such a high rate behavior. Because getting that 5-minute separation between episodes can be really tricky, and so then you have people that think, okay, well, I think that was a 5-minute separation, so I'm going to record that as a separate instance versus, other people might interpret it a different way. And so unless you're sitting there with your stopwatch the whole time, there's going to be errors within that event recording. Okay. And so then the partial interval, how many intervals did you record an occurrence of the behavior?
7 out of 9.
7 of the 9. Crystal, what about you?
7 as well.
I had 7 too. Okay, so we have a little bit better IOA there, number 1. And that tells us a lot, I think, a lot more, or a more accurate picture of the behavior as opposed to 3 potential episodes, right? Within that time frame, you could easily say, I don't know what 7 out of 9 the percentage is, but you could roughly say, like, okay, 85% of the time he was engaging in vocal stereotypy, or 85% of the intervals he was engaging in vocal stereotypy. And that's a little bit more reflective, I think, of the actual behavior, as opposed to just saying it happened 3 times. Okay?
Right.
What about the momentary time sampling? What did you guys come up with that?
I had 4 out of
4 out of 9? Crystal, what about you?
8.
I had 5.
You had 5.
I had a question mark because I wasn't sure if, like, right at that moment, because you had been doing it, and then, like, I don't know if, like, that moment that he stopped, or, like, he had kind of like a laugh thing, and I put a question mark.
I had the same problem as you. I had 5, but one of them was questionable because it kind of stopped right at the time that I was going to record. So I was like, oh, not sure if that is an occurrence or not an occurrence. So again, I think, like, looking at the 3, probably the most accurate picture of the behavior was gleaned from the partial interval, I would say, right? And we had greater IOA with partial interval because it's easier to record whether the behavior occurred within that particular interval as opposed to a certain amount of time, at a certain amount of time, right? So I think again, this kind of shows us that it's the same behavior, but because it's a high rate behavior and it's happening for various durations of time, that it's probably going to be more accurately and successfully recorded using partial interval recording, okay? So it's just kind of a simple exercise to show that, we have to think really carefully about how we are actually measuring the data, the procedures that we're using, because that could have a huge impact on the data that then we're seeing and then having to analyze and then determine appropriate interventions based upon that data, okay? So do you guys have any questions on what we covered tonight? Pretty good?
No.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for hanging in there.
Thank you, Jen.
All right. I will see you guys in a couple weeks.
Hey.
Okay, take care.
You too.
Bye.